American nation is the most abundant, the most prosperous the world has ever seen. But the paradox is this, that in the midst of plenty, there exists poverty. Poverty is a great enemy of the American dream, a grinding enemy that hits at the heart of life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness, an enemy with which this nation is at war. And what does this have to do with you? Well, these are your times, and this is your country. These, your countrymen. The war on poverty is your war. To be poor is to be fenced in, to live out your life trapped in a prison. You know there's a better world outside, but somehow it doesn't belong to you. If only someone would come into your world and help tear the fences down. That's what vista is for. To lift someone up on your shoulders and bring something bright into his life. Something to close the gap between him and everyone else.
What I hope I am doing is trying to bridge this gap, to create a relationship with the child, that there is some excitement and joy in just having fun and playing.
All across America, in cities and towns, in migrant worker camps, on Indian reservations, wherever poverty is, that's where Vista volunteers go, in so many different places, helping in so many different ways, finding ugliness, but finding beauty too.
You see all these dumpy shacks and dumpy cars, and everything's dumpy, and you see the most beautiful flowers in the world, and the most perfectly formed trees, and the greatest little faces.
There's no such thing as a typical Vista volunteer. There couldn't be. Vista is one human being helping another one. Not by the book or by the numbers, but however he can, just by being there.
And the people as a whole, regardless of race, are just very eager to be talked to have someone care, not necessarily to give them anything, just to give them the recognition that they are human beings. They do have feelings.
No, there is nothing typical about a Vista volunteer. Some are young. You can be 18. And some are old. There is no upper age limit. If she looks to the future, can he do otherwise? The things you give in Vista are often little things.
Little things like knowing the difference between green and blue. These children don't know the difference between green and blue. The little girl had blue shoes on and the other girl had green pants on. To them, they were both blue. They couldn't tell the difference. And things like, another example today, a child didn't know the difference between a turtle and a frog. They're both green and they're both sort of the same shape. But little things like this, you're not teaching them that 1 and 1 is 2, but you're teaching them that green is the color of grass and blue is the color of the sky.
Wherever you are sent by Vista will be a place where your help has been asked for, where it's needed. And where local people will help you to get things done. This young girl has gotten a community to completely renovate a two-room schoolhouse.
This involves complete tearing down of the interior of the building, putting new sheetrock up, and painting. The project itself is not just everything that I want to do while I'm there, but it gives the people a feeling of responsibility of working together as a group instead of every man for himself as it's been in the past. They seem to enjoy it, and as a Vista volunteer, I hope to encourage these people to get together and work as a community as a whole. When I first started in Vista, my major concern for joining up, you might say, were a little bit selfish. I wanted to see the country. I didn't have the finances to do it. I wanted to see life as it is and not as a student in college. I was tired of learning about the world out of books. So I thought this would be a perfect opportunity as a young person for me to do something as well as learn about the people around me. But now that I'm here, I feel a part of this community. I feel very dedicated to my job.
Sometimes it's a specific thing, like a schoolhouse, a community project that needs to be organized. But sometimes it's a problem that just needs human understanding. A Vista volunteer needs to be a good listener.
These are fine people. They have a lot of pride, very proud, and they know that they're in a tough spot. But they don't complain. They do the best they can for their children. You help them really in a very simple way, just by being there, by talking to them. Or rather, I said that wrong, by listening. You don't have to talk to them. Listen to them and sympathize with them. Those people, for the most part, lead very lonely lives. The few relatives they have know about all their problems and are impatient. When someone comes along who will lend an ear, that does a lot. You may not think so.
Perhaps there's nothing so special about the things that Vista people do. It's just that no one's ever done much with these particular Americans before. And that makes it special. Almost a small miracle. Your year in Vista will go very fast. You'll be paid just enough to get by, plus $50 a month saved for you by the government. Now, when it's over, what will you have to show for it besides that $600 in cash?
I don't know. It's hard. It's dirty. Yesterday the wind was blowing. It was dusty. You just go home with a good feeling, you know. A kid smiled at you.
Where there was despair, you may have brought some joy. Where there was fear, you may have given confidence. Where there was ignorance, you may have inspired wonder and the desire to learn. However long you may live, and however prosperous you may become, if from your year of service you have even one such memory, then Vista will have done this for you. You will know all your life what it is to be rich.